Hi there, how you doing? It's Colin Armstrong from the Gersnet Weekly Podcast here. Rather pissed off that my holidays have been broken up, Eck. Winter break's been broken up, obviously yesterday with the news that Gio's been sacked. So me and Eck are hooked up with at Ibrox actually. We're just outside Ibrox, a very gloomy Ibrox for more than one reason. He's gone,
I know.
Eck, so, I mean, I don't know how you're feeling. I mean, personally, I'd defended him for quite a while. I always felt he would have got to the World Cup break relatively in contact with them. I think St Johnstone, I mean the draw against Livy here was the start of it, I think. The St Johnstone game and the St Mirren game have done him, I think.
I know, I think it's an incredible thing when you think about it. He's only dropped points in 3 home games.
Yeah.
You know, homes in the exact year he's been here. But it's the away form obviously, which is particularly done for Gio. And it feels like we've done a whole lot of pods standing out here in the past 6 months to a year, Colin, where we've had to go a wee bit extra to defend Gio. We're looking for reasons to think that he shouldn't go, as opposed to, you know, just having a lot of concrete stuff. As I keep saying, we're standing here, 5th of May this year, we stood outside here after pretty much the best night of my life as a Rangers supporter.
Yeah, it was a great night. It was.
The best game ever, and I think
Colin Steen walked past us.
Colin Steen, if we didn't know it was a special night, then we certainly
two middle-aged guys like that.
I know.
That's Colin Steen.
Like a teenage lassies, superhero. But it was a magical night. I still find it really hard to process the fact that and getting us into the Champions League is still not enough to save a Rangers manager. You know, it's quite a strange situation. I'm a wee bit numb, but I think you and I were saying those last 3 domestic games, like after the Ajax game, the last of the Champions League matches, a horrific group stage. We thought we're not going to judge him until these last 3 domestic matches before the World Cup break, and he's managed to win one of them. But he had to win all 3. You know, so it was inevitable, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, folks saying, glad that he's gone, get him to fuck, all that kind of stuff. But I'm also seeing a lot of folks saying that they feel it's slightly harsh. I think, considering the injury situation, it is slightly harsh.
Aye.
But I also think...
You're setting me up again, I'm going to start defending him again. I know you can still make a case.
But I also feel like... I also think, once the players were back, I'm not convinced that results and performances were going to improve. I just... See, when I think back, we spoke about this a few times early on in the year, about a disconnect between the squad and the management team and all that kind of thing. And obviously Seville kind of dismisses that, and you know, you go on and you have a great European run and you think everyone's fine, and you kind of think, well, domestically he gets his own players in the summer, he has a chance to have a full pre-season, which he never got last year obviously, and we'll see a better team this year, and it's actually went the other way. However, I'm going to slightly stick up for Gio here. I genuinely believe that there are other people to blame in this, and I was reading that thing in Athletic yesterday actually about there had been a bit of an incident in Portugal.
The Jordan Campbell piece, that's excellent piece.
Senior players, out in the razzle, drinking too much. Gio's pulled them up. I feel in that there was, the sort of reaction to the senior players, they were speaking to Gio in a way that they wouldn't have spoken to Steven Gerrard, all that kind of thing. Yeah. And I do get the feeling that some the group, particularly some of the senior players, never really bought into what he was trying to do. And I think some of them should be having a wee look at themselves, if I'm being honest.
Well, as I say, you can still make a case for Gio. I still kind of find myself fighting the urge to make a case for him staying, because he is gone, that's it. But I think it was the body language of Gio himself last Saturday when his post-match press conferences. He looked like he wanted out. He looked like he was, kind of wanting his contract curtailed. I feel as if the Jordan Campbell piece, that then gives you a few clues. It kind of plays into this idea that the run to a European final was just new manager bounce. The greatest new manager bounce of all time, and maybe there was a tension between Gerrard and Beale's system. And Gio's system, what he eventually wanted the team, how he eventually wanted to be playing, and the kind of energy you get for 2 systems rubbing together is what's propelled us, to a European final. Because a big aspect of that end of the season was the kind of epic nature of it. Going quarter-final, went to extra time against Braga. A few days later, we're playing Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Go down late on. We take it to extra time and win it. Same thing, Seville itself, going to extra time with penalties, and then we beat Hearts to Scotland. So the team seemed totally energised. They seemed really, you're thinking the training was fantastic, but what's starting to emerge now, we've been talking all season, all this season, look, the players look lethargic. Has it just been that, I think Jordan Campbell was talking about there was a suspicion, or it was actually stated by players that it was ball training, it was football fitness, kind of thing, on the ball, no enough intensity. You like Scott Arfield saying he wants to be running into the ground, kind of Jock Wallace style. He wants to really have to be broken basically, be his manager when it comes to pre-season, so he knows he's got it in him for the whole season. And you're starting to think, is that actually what happened? Had Gerrard and Beale, they had the fitness, absolutely perfect, but then they kind of drop in the training intensity at the end of last season, let them go that bit further in Europe and in the Scottish Cup, whatever, and then with Gio's fitness only in their legs, or no in their legs this pre-season, that's why
it's not enough.
I'm going into reverse now. I'm now starting to look for reasons to justify Gio being sacked, and I just hope that the board's done it, because they're hearing this kind of stuff and they've seen this kind of stuff. It's not just a case of 6th of December, AGM, we better do something else, we're going to get a hard time.
Yeah, I do think there is a justification for being where we are. As I stated earlier, I do think it's slightly harsh, but there is enough evidence, in my opinion, to say, well, serious questions need to be asked. For a while there, I genuinely felt they were giving him until the Celtic game in December, and then if they were still in touch with him, and then he got a result here at Ibrox, then I think if he hadn't got a result here at Ibrox against them in December, then I think we're maybe back to this position that we're in at the moment. But it is, it's a shame, because obviously he was a great player for us. He's given us that great run in the Europa League last year. As you pointed out, that night against Leipzig, it's the greatest night I've had at Ibrox, and I've been coming to Ibrox since 1981, 82, something like that. So best night of my life in 40 years of coming to Ibrox.
Absolutely.
And so it's sad, but I suppose we've got to kind of look forward and move forward. We've seen all the names. I got a tip off today that it's definitely Beale. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
It seems to be the favourite just now, anyway. When
I got the tip off on, and I looked at the odds and it wasn't worth it. So certainly no for a tenner anyway.
So. That's not happening.
I think I was getting about £2 or something back for it.
It's not worth the jail time, man.
It's not worth it. Wasn't worth it. But before we talk about potential replacements and if it is Beale and stuff like that, do you have faith in the board? Because I was kind of looking at the record in terms of appointments, and outside of Gerrard, and even then, you still get folk going on about 1 and 9, all that shite. Which I think ignores the context of the situation that
context
Gerrard,
is all.
Of course it is. Gerrard came into an absolute shell of a club. He had to build it up from scratch, the infrastructure, the whole thing. So I think the people that give it the 1 and 9 pish are talking just that pish. But other than Gerrard, you would have to say they've not had a great record at making appointments when it comes to the manager.
And you're 1 in 9 thinking it discounts getting to a European final, which is absolutely phenomenal achievement, getting into the Champions League for a club who'd been had their holding company liquidated just 10 years ago. I think one thing that can happen in situations like this when the results only happening on the park and the team's just not playing is you think it's like a depression. Everything's rubbish. What's the point of anything? Everybody's rang. Ross Wilson's rang, the board's rang, the players are rang. But I think there's definitely cases to be answered when it comes to a few of the players kind of down in tools, and also, as you say, the board. I think they have to get this one right. You're right. It's going to be a last chance, I think, for Ross Wilson. But I also think that rebuilding thing you're talking about, I know we'll keep going on about 2012, and I know it really annoys folk, but it's not a case of I'm just citing 2012 for some sort of kind of historical reference. It's something that's ongoing just now. I keep trying to think up new kind of analogies and metaphors and all that to get the point across, but it's a bit like, I think if you've slept in, your alarm hasn't gone off, and you've slept in, and you spend the rest of your day trying to catch up yourself. And you get to the point, and maybe like getting to a European final is because you've had that wee bit of extra rest because you've slept in too long, but you're constantly trying to catch up yourself, and you're getting at your work in the nick of time, and then you're getting stuff done, but it's annoying, and there's always wee problems you wouldn't normally get, and I feel as if that's what's happened with us in the last 10 years. And there's been this thing that we had, Super Ali was there for best part of 4 years, best part of 3 years after 2012.
Right.
That got us into the championship, and then he had to go, and there's a lot of shenanigans, McCall and that coming in to get us, and the playoffs and that didn't work. So we get Warburton in, and it's a rebuild. And then Warburton gets found out pretty quickly in the top flight. Another rebuild, And I think the Gerrard rebuild was about getting us that league title, and it was magnificent, and it got us to that point. It was a great achievement, but I think the idea that we're then going to go on and retain that title and go on some sort of run, we're kind of kidding ourselves after that length of time out. I mean, we came damn close. We're only 4 points off it last season. And Gerrard himself was part of chucking it last season as well. He had a really bad start to the season. But I think we have to look at maybe a clear out of certain players, etc., because it's just something that needs to be done. I think we need to rebuild again. I keep thinking about the Celtic team of '98 who stopped us winning like a legitimate 10 in a row.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, right, here we go. But then we won the treble the following season, then we won the league again the season after that. It took a while before Celtic actually go back to a period of kind of dominance. Where they were kind of winning more titles than us. And I think it's the other way about now. I think we've had our one, we've stopped Celtic winning their 10, and we're still back in a kind of rebuilding mode. And this is a major appointment.
In terms of who it's going to be, it does look like Beale's the favourite. Well, he is the favourite at the bookies. As I said, someone got in touch with me today on Twitter saying that they're 100% confident that it's him, claiming to have some inside info. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what I was told today. But some of the other names, Sean Dyche is obviously one of the names getting put. I must admit, when I was having a look at the list today, Duncan Ferguson, I thought, what?
The punk.
That would be, if nothing else, it'd be a fucking riot, wouldn't it? It would be an absolute riot. I would love to see him sort of headbutt Ange into the Broomlin Road stands. It's just brilliant.
Send him out for the bad pressers, the ones that nobody wants to do. Dunk will go out there and get that.
Can you imagine the press conference after a bad result? Nobody would ask a thing.
Square goes
all right, Duncan. You're right.
You're unlucky.
You're really unlucky, Duncan. It'd just be brilliant. And I'm kind of half joking there. I mean, his time at Everton, one thing you couldn't deny about Ferguson was his enthusiasm. He obviously wants to be a manager. Yeah. It looks to me like just because of his reputation or whatever, I don't know if he's ever really going to get that chance. But I did look at it and think, he never really quite cut it here as a player. He never really got the opportunity. This is maybe where his salvation comes in, because I've got a lot of time for Big Duncan.
He's some man. And but I think that kind of speaks to what a lot of Rangers fans are feeling, having watched the team, having watched the players underperforming on the park. A lot is wanting to get them by the throat. Yeah. And I think that's also why the Sean Dyche recommended. That's like he's sitting there on Monday Night Football, kind of advertising himself, the biggest kind of turkey in the show. He's looking delicious. His wee kind of military, shaved head and all that. He's kind of sergeant major. He's got this total drill sergeant demeanour, and I think we're looking at Sean Dyche thinking he would go in there and get a right rocket of them. He would get them sorted, and that's a kind of a disservice to Sean Dyche, because
I think he's a good manager, by the way. He does have this kind of Brexit manager, and Burnley and all that kind of stuff. I think he would do a job.
Exactly. He's got that kind of. I think he said it himself that time he was on Monday Night Football recently, where he was basically kind of putting his CV out to the country. Yeah. I think he just said, people think I'm just a long ball guy. Yeah. I'll tell you, we saw Sean Dyche he was a pal of Mark Warburton's, and he brought Burnley here 2 pre-seasons in the trot for friendlies. And the first one they beat us 1-0. We were just too busy gushing over how good Warburton's team looked, to compare to what we do. But the second one, we've had our record doing this season in the Champions League, but at half time in that game I thought we were going to get a record doing. They were 3-0 up going on 10. They played us off the park, different level, different money in that. But I think to get out the Championship, which is, I think at one point was the second richest league in Europe, to get out the Championship a couple of times to win it, and to get Burnley up to kind of 9th place, 7th place.
They were a sort of confirmed Premiership team for a while.
You don't do that.
Established.
You don't do that. And I think also it's quite internecine down there. You've got another kind of Preston, Blackburn, Accrington, Stanley on there, Blackpool. They all hate each other in that wee kind of area down there. So you'll be used to that, as well as the Goldfish Bowl thing of the whole world watching you all the time. So it'd be up to it. And I think that's one big thing. That's the only thing that bothers me about Michael Beale. I think you need a manager who knows how hard it is here and doesn't ignore that. Actually wants it. He actually thinks that's I want a bit of that, like Gerrard did. And I wouldn't want Gerrard as a manager on his own, because you need the Michael Beale know-how these days. You definitely need a tactical guru. That's why the Knutson, the Bodo Glimt manager, for older viewers, guys my age, he's a bit of a kind of Norwegian Jim McLean, if you like. I don't know if he's just made his career in Norway, and he's in total control of that club, winning their first ever title. Second title, doing brilliant. They're still in the Conference League again this season, but I don't know if he could handle the size, just everything that's required here, and the instant hate you get for your own fans if you don't win every game by 3 or 4 goals.
I have noticed that everyone that was on Twitter, demanding that Gio gets sacked is now bemoaning the fact that Michael Beale's the favourite for the job. But anyway, one downside, Sean Dyche, I think the voice. Fuck that voice goes through. I don't know if I could deal with that every Friday.
You can tell him.
That sounds like Fozzie Bear. Anyway, on to Michael Beale. I listened to a podcast last week there that David Wren suggested to me. It was what's his name? Is it Darryl Curry? The Curry Club. He was interviewing Michael Beale, and it's a really good listen. If you get the chance, give it a listen. You know, Michael Beale's on it. And one thing I will say, I mean, he sounds like a guy that's you'd really want to work for and want to play for. He's got so much love for this club, and that comes over in the way he talks, and the area, because like his daughter was born up here and all that kind of stuff. And he, you know, you kind of get the impression, like what you were saying there, he wants it. I think he's desperate for it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is you want it and straight away think, but has he got the ability to handle it? You know, he's obviously a football psycho. You know, he loves he loves the methodology, he loves it in the training, he loves all the kind of he knows the game inside out tactically. You know, and some of the football we played under Gerrard, you know, was absolutely magnificent. I think I've seen it. It's no coincidence that today it's all over Twitter. Links to videos of the goal we scored against Galatasaray, where we basically loved it for the goalie, every player involved. In that Europa League playoff game. But I think
is that when one fullback was crossing it to the other fullback and all that stuff? How many goals did we get that season for that?
I know, anyway, fantastic. And I just think he absolutely knows what he's doing technically. I just worry about the kind of personality wise, you know, having to front up, having to be the front man. I will be paying a lot of attention to him at Queen's Park Rangers, but obviously he had a good run, had them up the top of the table and what have you. He's now 10 points off the top of the table, kind of just outside of goal difference for the playoff places. I think they've picked up 1 point for the last 5 games, you know, so it's taken a bit of a downturn for him. But plenty of managers. I think Walter Smith, you know, when he came back for his second spell, you know, had a tough time at Everton for various reasons or something like that. It wasn't like every manager we get has to be, you know, doing absolutely perfectly. And it might be this is the perfect fit again for Michael Beale. And I think he'd certainly get a great welcome just taking a straw poll on Twitter and what have you, get us a bit of momentum. But I'm not 100% sure, but I think he'd need to bring somebody with him.
That's who he brings with him. I think that's a big question, isn't it? You know,
with Gerrard, it was a case that he had the personality to take on the job that needed done. Then he needed technical advisors coming with him. I think Michael Beale's got all the technical know-how you can possibly ask for. He needs a personality to sort out the players and front up in the dressing room, I think.
We'll see how it goes, and going to be an interesting few days, and we'll be covering it as always. In the meantime, I think these are planning to do some wee World Cup things. Are you enjoying the World Cup? I'm not watching it, by the way.
No, I'm not enjoying it. I don't think anybody should enjoy it. You know, I think it's just a horrific kind of ongoing murderous human rights abuse. But I am a total football addict, and I'm sick of Formula One. You know, it was happening in Abu Dhabi on Sunday. The race Pep Guardiola. You know, this is great. You know, it was like as many folk built and died building that blooming place. It's an absolute disgrace. What's happened there? It's never have happened. But I can't help myself, mate. I feel dirty and it feels wrong. But I can't help watching games every now and then. And listen, guys, if you want a bit of World Cup chat, you know, let us know in the comment section. I've got. Was it Sleaford Mod saying tied up in knots? No, I've got an armful of decent tunes. You know, I could tell you a lot. I could tell a lot of World Cup anecdotes and what have you. But I don't even know if any of the boys that work on the site want to do it. You know, but give us a shout if you do. But obviously we understand it's pretty ropey, not just politically, but just in terms of common decency.
Yeah, it's just never felt right with me. And you know, the worst thing about it is the winter fact. I just can't get into a World Cup in winter. But
that's weird as well.
It's not right. It's not right. Anyway. That's the update on the Gio situation.
Hopefully next time we talk to you, we'll have a new manager.
So doing a show on Sunday, we're interviewing the academic that has produced that book about Rangers' financial implosion. I think he's a Falkirk fan, so I don't struggle to get on with him.
Asking for trouble. I'm glad I'm avoiding that one.
So there's a show on Sunday night at 9:30. As I said, there's talk with the guys about doing some stuff for the World Cup. So just keep your eye on the YouTube channel and on the Twitter streams and all that kind of stuff, and see what's coming out. And until the next time, guys, bye for now.
Cheers.